I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Yukah Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also, I want to acknowledge all the Akyam for pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And shalom to all you hopefully elect brothers out there. So I'm going to go into the Spirit, Jeremiah chapter 1. It says, the words of Jeremiah, the son of Hilkiah, of the priests that were in Anathoth in the land of Benjamin, to whom the word of Yahweh came in the days of Josiah, the son of Ammon, the king of Judah, in the 13th year of his reign. And just to realize and understand, during this time of Jeremiah and Josiah, they were both very, very young. Josiah, he was only 8 years old, I believe, when he was the king of Israel. Let me grab that verse. Let's go to 2 Kings 2 and 22. It says, oh no, I'm sorry, that ain't it. Let me see. Let's go to 2 Chronicles 34. All right, here we go. 2 Chronicles 34:1. It says, Josiah was 8 years old when he began to reign and reigned in Jerusalem. And he did that which was right in the sight of Yahweh, and walked in the ways of David his father, and declined neither to the right nor the left. So he was young as hell. He was only 8 years old as king. And I'm talking about Josiah, not Jeremiah. But also, Jeremiah was also a young prophet. And when you Google it, because I tried to Google it, the Christians, they go off because they say he was like 20. But I believe he was younger than that. Because in the scriptures, the age of 12, you're considered entering into manhood. And so when we read this chapter here, Jeremiah 1 and verse 2, actually I'm at verse 3 now. It said, it came also in the days of Joachim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, unto the end of the 11th year of Zedekiah, the son of Josiah, king of Judah, unto the carrying away of Jerusalem captive in the 5th month. Then the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, before I formed thee in the belly I knew thee, and before thou camest forth out of the womb I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. All right, just going into, because of reincarnation, Yahweh always knew, and you remember, it's a spirit that never dies. Our spirit never dies. We get regenerated, we come back. So this is part of the reason why it says, before I formed thee in the belly I knew thee, before thou camest forth out of the womb I sanctified thee, and I ordained thee a prophet unto the nations. So if you're a prophet, you're going to be ordained before you come out the womb, because the first fruits are always the prophets, and they've been regenerated. We've been reincarnated. Yahweh knew us before we came out our mother's womb, and he ordained us and sanctified us to be the prophets unto the nations. And it's not just to the nation of Israel, it's to all the nations. We tell all the nations, we tell Edom, you're the wicked. We tell, Moab, you'll be the washpot. You tell Ishmael, he's a wild man, which these are all heathen nations. We're not only we're declaring to our people, but we're actually declaring to all the nations Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai's truth and doctrine. Okay? Verse 6. Then said I, Yahweh thy power, behold, I cannot speak, for I am a child. Right? So Jeremiah was young. You get the point. Verse 7. But Yahweh said unto me, say not, I am a child, for thou shalt go to all that I shall send thee, and whatsoever I command thee thou shalt speak. Be not afraid of their faces, for I am with thee to deliver thee, saith Yahweh. All right, so just like he told Jeremiah, and he told Ezekiel, Ezekiel 3:12. Well, let me see. Oh, let's read it. 3:8. Behold, I have made thy face strong against their faces, and thy forehead strong against their foreheads. And this is the prophets. Yahweh, he makes our faces strong against the faces of who? Anybody who comes across this truth. And our faces are stronger on our forehead, meaning your forehead goes into your understanding, right? Your mind. So our forehead is basically it's stronger than everyone else when it comes to this truth, right? Because we have a deeper understanding. If you're one of the prophets, then Lord's will, I'm in that number. And if the Spirit's on you, then hey, nobody's going to be able to contest you when it comes to this Bible, because it's our weapon, right? That's why they call it a double-edged sword. You can cut the heathen, you can cut the 2/3, you can cut even yourself. You see, that's why it's a double-edged sword. But being if the Spirit's on you to be one of the prophets of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, you're gonna have a strong forehead against anyone else when it comes to understanding and dealing with these scriptures. Verse 9: As an adamant harder than flint, I made thy forehead. And remember, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, he created us in the womb, so he made it. He gave us this truth, and when we start to understand it, and the Spirit's on us, hey, it's like an adamant harder than flint. Have I made thy forehead? Fear them not, it says. Neither be dismayed at their looks, though they be a rebellious house. So it shows you this is talking about the 2/3. Don't fear the 2/3. You see? Come out here, do the work. It don't matter what the 2/3 got to say, because they're in a strong delusion, and we've got a stronger forehead than them. We've got a better understanding of the scripture. That's why they get frustrated when they try to deal with us. You see? And the heathen, obviously, that goes without saying, but I said in a couple lessons back that the 2/3, they're even more they give us more resistance than the heathen. Let's go back to Jeremiah 1 and verse 9. It says, Then Yahweh put forth his hand and touched my mouth, and Yahweh said unto me, Behold, I have put my words in thy mouth. So Yahweh puts his words in our mouth. These are not our words. This is not our doctrine. Even Yahweh Shai said, this is not my doctrine. You see? This is the doctrine. This is Yahweh's doctrine. So let's get that in John 7:16. Because remember, these aren't our words. These ain't our, we didn't come up with this on our own. This is all through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. John 17 and verse 16, it says, Yahushai answered them and said, My doctrine is not mine, but his that sent me. If any man will do his will, he shall know of the doctrine, whether it be of the Most High, or whether I speak of myself. See? He that speaketh of himself seeketh his own glory, but he that seeketh his glory that sent him, the same is true, and no unrighteousness is in him. Did not Moses give you the law, and yet none of you keepeth the law? Why go ye about to kill me? So, if the main point is this is not our doctrine. This is not even Yahweh Shai's doctrine. This is the doctrine of Yahweh, the Father. All right? So he puts his words in our mouth. We don't use our own words. And if we do use our own words in this truth, and they don't line up with the doctrine, then you're immediately a false prophet. That's why it's best to just stick to the words in the book. Don't go around breaking things down incorrectly. Don't go around, teaching unsound doctrine, because this is a serious thing. You see, you don't want to take Yahweh's doctrine and just butcher it. Like sometimes people will do a cover song of another artist, and sometimes they kill it, but sometimes it's like, oh shit, the original's way better. Well, that's how this is. The original's always going to be better. You can't change, you can't add, you can't take away, you can't change anything about the doctrine. Because again, it's not our doctrine, all right? Go back to Jeremiah 1 and 10. It says, "See, I have this day set thee over the nations and over the kingdoms, to root out and to pull down and to destroy and to throw down, to build and to plant." So that's what Yahweh sent to his. That's why he sets up his prophets. All right, because we are doing all those things. He set us over the nations, it says, and over the kingdoms. This is to root out, meaning take out anything that's doesn't pertain to this doctrine. We're called defenders of the gospel. To pull down, what do we pull down? We pull down strongholds. A good example of a stronghold is Cesare Borgia. That demon, which is got a lot of our people in deception and darkness, and destroy it. And what do? We destroy, the fake Christian pagan doctrine. We destroy that doctrine with our understanding. Because remember what I read earlier. Our foreheads are stronger than theirs. All right? So that's talking about the 2/3, but you best believe our forehead is also stronger than Esau or the heathen when it comes to the Bible. And because why is that? Let's get Psalm 147:19. "He showeth his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel." So he shows us his word, the truth. He shows us his Bible. Gives it to us. He doesn't give it to any other nation. All right. There's another precept which I've been using lately, is in Baruch 3:36. It says, "He hath found out all the way of knowledge, and hath given it unto Jacob his servant, and to Israel his beloved." See? So this is our truth, all right? We're the sons. That's what Israel means, the princes of power, Yashurallah in the Hebrew. So we're the princes. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that's the king, right? That's the head. So we're underneath them. But guess what? This is our truth. Even though it's the Father's truth, this belongs to the Israelites. It's not pertaining to the other nations. All right? Tells you more proof in Amos 3:1. "Hear this word that Yahweh hath spoken against you, O sons of Israel, against the whole family which I brought up from the land of Egypt, saying, You only have I known of all the families of the earth, therefore I will punish you for your iniquities." See that? So it's just the Israelites, all right? That's the only ones who come into this knowledge. That's the 144,000 prophets are only Israelites, right? You can't be a heathen and be part of that number, all right? Let's go back to Jeremiah. But that's what we do. In the meanwhile, we're called to, and you know what? Let me see. Read this other precept. It's also Jeremiah. It's going to be in 28. in verse 8, it says, "The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence." And again, nothing new under the sun. That's what the prophets in this age were doing, the same thing. We're prophesying. Are we not prophesying against many countries, against great kingdoms of war, evil, and pestilence? And that's what it is. That's exactly what we're doing here in Babylon, right? There's that verse. Let me see. Let's get Isaiah 62 and 6. It says, "I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. Ye that make mention of Yahweh, keep not silence." See that? So the watchmen are the prophets. And we ain't going to hold our peace. No matter what Esau Edom does, the Lord put a spirit on his men, and we're not going to hold our peace. We're going to prophesy in the names of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai until Yahweh Shai cracks those clouds. See? There was another one I wanted to get. Let me think real quick. That slipped my mind. Oh, yeah. Let's see. Everything's in Jeremiah, the precepts that I'm pulling out. Let's see, this is Jeremiah 51 and 14. Another verse dealing with the prophets. It says, "Yahweh of hosts hath sworn by himself, saying, Surely I will fill thee with men as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up a shout against thee." You see? So the shout against us, see, he's talking about spiritually, it's, Babylon, right? And now we're in Babylon the Great, or the daughter of Babylon. So it's the same thing, nothing new under the sun. Yahweh filled, he's filled up Babylon, just like he did ancient Babylon, with as with caterpillars, it says. And if you know the nature of a caterpillar, is when caterpillars are habitating inside a tree, they eat the tree, take away all its nutrients until the tree dies. So it's a metaphor for the prophets. We're likened unto caterpillars, just like those. Like I say, those caterpillars, they'll kill a tree literally from the inside, eating it out from the inside out, right? So that's what we are. We're inside Babylon, America. We're inside the daughter of Babylon, however you want to call it, Mystery Babylon. So that's what we're doing to Babylon. We're basically, well, let me read it again. Yahweh of hosts, verse 14 in Jeremiah chapter 51. "Yahweh of hosts hath sworn by himself, saying, Surely I will fill thee with men as with caterpillars, and they shall lift up a shout against thee." You see that? So we're just like those caterpillars that are destroying the inside of a tree, and we're destroying Babylon with our words. We're inside Babylon, if that makes sense, you see. But let me go back to Jeremiah 1 and verse 11. It says, "Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, Jeremiah, what seest thou? And I said, I see a rod of an almond tree. Then said Yahweh unto me, Thou hast well seen, for I will hasten my word to perform it." Right? So the heathen, they can come up with anything they want, but their enterprise isn't going to be performed unless unless Yahweh Bashem Yahushai allows it. So what it is only His will is going to be performed, as I described in the last lesson I did. You see, Jeremiah 5:12, because it's the op. I'm sorry, it's Job 5:12. He disappointed the devices of the crafty so that their hands cannot perform their enterprise. So see, the only thing that's going to be performed is the will of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. And that's why you have the prophets, that's why you have the men, the caterpillars, right? Basically destroying this place from within. Because when you think about it, everything is, the prophets are revealing everything. And it's messing up Esau. It's fucking with Esau. You see? And that's prophecy being fulfilled because we always tell you or talk about it. 2 Thessalonians 2 and I'll start at 3. It says, "Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, and the son of perdition." See, so we're in the time. Well, let me jump down to 6, because we're in the time of revealing Esau Edom. We're a prophet unto the nations. Yahweh ordained us, sanctified us from the womb. So that means, now that we're out here prophesying, that's one of the things we're doing. We're revealing the truth. We're destroying, lies through the Spirit, through the Bible. We're teaching our people. We're showing them their transgressions, and in the meanwhile, we're pulling down strongholds. Like we're teaching. The elect is going to listen, but the 2/3 obviously they won't listen. But they'll be cursed by the truth, right? Because if they hear this knowledge, this truth, and they don't repent, the 2/3 will be cursed. And we're all cursed, but they're not gonna receive salvation. All right, they're gonna be sacrificed here in Babylon or wherever they are, where we've been driven on the planet Earth, scattered on the planet Earth. But again, the prophets were revealing the wickedness of Esau. We're revealing everything with the understanding and the knowledge of this truth, of this Bible. So let me read 2 Thessalonians 2 and 6. I jumped down to 6. It says, "And now ye know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time." So we're revealing Esau Edom, the so-called white man, the wicked, and this is his time because he's the one who's in dominion. He's the one who's in rulership of the planet Earth, right? Literally, he rules the earth in wickedness. So guess what? It's our job to be. It's our job to call him out. Like it said on that last verse, he filled thee with men which are not going to hold their peace, and we're going to have a shout against this wicked man, which is the so-called white man, Esau Edom, in the time we're living in. All right. And then it says right here in verse 8, I'm going to jump down to verse 8. It says, "And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom Yahweh shall consume with the spirit of his mouth." And what is the spirit of his mouth? It's the prophets. Right? We read earlier that he touched my mouth. He says, "Behold, I have put my words in thy mouth." So first he's going to destroy Esau Edom with the spirit of his mouth, which were his prophets. That's a spiritual fire coming out of our mouth. And then it says, "and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming." So first it's spiritual, but then it's going to be literal. Because it says, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, which is referring to the return of Yahweh Shai and the angels. All right? And they crack them clouds. Not only are those missiles going to be destroying America, Babylon the Great, but also the chariots. The chariots, they have the concentrated fire coming out that laser beam, all right, what you call a UFO. Let's get to Obadiah because I want to get the part where it talks about we have fire coming out of our mouth. Let's see. Well, Well, I'm going to read it. It doesn't say exactly what I said, but we have Obadiah 1 and 18. It says, the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. Right? So our words, we're burning up this place, man. We're pulling down strongholds. We're destroying Babylon internally from the inside out. Right? It says, and the house of Esau for stubble, and they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh hath spoken it. And I mean that prophecy will be fulfilled in the kingdom. You got to remember, we're going to have Esau in a hardcore slavery for 1,000 years, but then he's going to be, eradicated, put to death, he's going to be extinct to the point where you won't even see it. You go outside, you won't even see an Edomite. All right, tells you that also in the book of Job. But I'm going to stick to the subject here. Going back to Jeremiah 1 and I'm at verse 13. It says, and the word of Yahweh came unto me the second time, saying, what seest thou? And I said, I see a seething pot, and the face thereof is toward the north. Then Yahweh said unto me, out of the north an evil shall break forth upon the inhabitants of the land. For lo, I will call all the families of the kingdoms of the north, saith Yahweh, and they shall come, and they shall set every one his throne at the entering of the gates of Jerusalem, and against all the walls thereof round about, and against all the cities of Judah. All right? So this is dealing with still the 2/3, but also spiritually the land of the north is spoken about, and which is talking about Babylon the Great also in this time, which that's why we're in North America, right? Because it's the land of the north. Verse 16, and I will utter my judgments against them, touching all their wickedness, who have forsaken me, and have burned incense unto other powers, unto other gods, and worshiped the works of their own hands. All right, and that's going into the 2/3. And who do the 2/3? Where do they stumble? They stumble because either they call themselves atheists, or they call themselves burning incense to these other idols, false gods. All right. So verse 17, it says, thou therefore gird up thy loins and arise and speak unto them all that I command thee. Be not dismayed at their faces, lest I confound thee before them. All right. So we're commanded to gird up our loins, meaning man up and arise and speak and prophesy. Remember, we're not supposed to be fearing the heathen. We're not supposed to fear the 2/3 when we prophesy. The Lord puts a spirit of a real man, of endurance, of hard men, So that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to teach this truth with, gird up your loins, meaning man up. Verse 18, remember, he's talking to Jeremiah, who was a young child at the time. So if he's telling Jeremiah, who was considered a child, then how much more us? All right? If, us who are men in this truth. Verse 18, for behold, I have made thee this day a defense city, and an iron pillar, a brazen walls against the whole land, against the kings of Judah, against the princes thereof, against the priests thereof, and against the people of the land. So we're coming against all the 2/3, whether it's, and the Lord's calling us a defense city. We're like a city with walls, right, with protection. And why is that? Because Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai is going to be our protection, all right? It's going to be our hedge if we're in this truth and we're sincere and we are the prophets. That means Yahweh is going to keep a hedge around us. That's that defense city. An iron pillar. A pillar is something that holds up a building, right? So we're likened unto a church, right? The men. So we're those pillars holding up that church. It represents stability, right? He says, and brazen walls against the whole land. So we're literally pretty much going against everybody except for the elect. But the elect is scarce. You see, there's not a lot of the elect. I mean, there is a lot of the elect because we outnumber the sands of the sea. But go outside, and right now most of these people are in that 2/3 spirit, because a lot of the elect will repent when the times get hard, when the heat is on their ass, when the shit hits the fan, however you want to say it. But right now we're basically, we're definitely the minority when I'm talking about the elect or the prophets, right?